So the first competency in this domain is competency 11. It's execute contracts for professional services. And execute is a pretty strong word. That means do it. That means actually carry it out. But the bullet points don't really support that. The bullet points are more academic because you do have to learn about contracts in order to do this. The first bullet point, explain basic types of contracts between various parties and how to establish scope, schedule, and fees for services. In order to explain it, you've got to learn it. You've got to actually absorb that material. The second bullet point, understand the appropriateness of different agreements in relation to scale and type of project, including alternatives for partial services. So again, understanding, you got to learn it, you got to study it. And then talk to your mentors about the way that they determine how a different type of project corresponds to the different types of contracts. And then the third bullet point, understand basic risk implications of common contract terms and conditions for the various contract parties. You know, there's always terms and conditions, T and C. You got to read all those and understand what they are, but talk to somebody who knows this stuff. So there's a lot of studying involved, and I encourage you to actually take a course that will help you learn more about contracts. The AIA has those, NCARB has those. You can even find them on youngarchitects.com that help you study for the exam. You have to know this contract stuff in order to pass the exam that covers contracts.
This is just a quick break to ask you a question. Are you getting value from this content? If you are, please click the subscribe button. All right, back to the training.
But I want to circle back to this very first task that is the competence itself. Execute contracts for professional services. You have to actually do it. So what you can do now is go get the contract and go through it as if you're actually doing it. You probably need some help, and your mentor or your supervisor may not be the one to talk to here because they may not be executing the contracts. Go to the firm principal, or if it's a larger firm, they might have a legal department. Talk to them about how do you go through and fill out these contracts. The AIA are actually forms that you fill out the information in there, you insert it. Smaller firms may use their own contracts, so get a hold of the typical owner-architect contract. If they don't have a template, they should, but get a recent project with a contract for owner-architect agreement for services. And walk through it with your firm principal. It is an investment for you, the firm principal, to talk to the new architecture professionals about contracts to help them understand it. If they want to be architects, we have a responsibility to assist them in this. And new architecture professionals, dig in, study this, and focus on how to do it. So when it is your turn, you can actually put those contracts together and execute an effective contract with a client, a real client.